Hi everybody, I'm Marla Rodriguez with 9 Health, and we're here on a special day for Health Happens, as we are every Tuesday, bringing you all the kinds of ways that health is happening, because we know it's happening every moment, every day for each of you, maybe a little bit differently. And today we have something really a big treat. We're out here with Linda Chasman, and you're the executive director here, and this is awesome. We're with the pets. So we're pet assisted psychotherapy today. And so tell us a little bit about your center and what you do here.
Well, we call this the Barking Cat Ranch. This is the Center for Animal Assisted Therapy. And we have, over 20 animals that we work with, all of our clients work with. And just to say hello, Duncan, would you like to wave to our audience? Say hello, Duncan.
Cute.
Yeah, so Duncan's saying hi to all of you. And then this is his partner, Dahlia, and all around us are our animals, and we do mental health counseling with all of these animals. They help children, teenagers, adults, seniors. We treat everything mental health.
Yes,
and
that's
all
great.
of these animals are integrated into that therapy process.
Well, I know I feel better already, happier for being out here with the animals. But it really goes deeper than that, and we're going to get into, the difference between what some of us call pet therapy, which apparently isn't a thing, and really what psychotherapy assisted.
Yeah, animal assisted psychotherapy is what we do.
Really is. So let's just maybe start there. What kinds of things do you treat here at the center?
Well, like I said, anything mental health we can treat here. So that includes depression, anxiety, autism, ADHD. We see a lot of kids who've been adopted and in foster care, who have attachment issues. We run the gamut. PTSD, a lot of veterans.
Oh no, we fell down. Dahlia fell down, but she's okay. Everyone's
She's okay. That's a goat thing too. Yeah, they like to climb and jump. So this is some of the first psychotherapy 101, is just having an animal that makes you laugh. And so that actually can be really good for a lot of people who have suffered from chronic depression or chronic anxiety, is to come here and to realize that they're still alive inside, that they can laugh and that they can have a sense of freedom. And we want people to have a different experience when they come here.
Yes, this is very different. I've never hung out with little goats like this before that are falling off of things.
Yeah, exactly. and jumping off of things.
Things.
Intentionally looking ridiculous.
Yeah.
And, having curious horses that want to be around people. All of these animals love people, and they want that interaction. And so that really helps our clients to feel better. So right off the bat, the psychotherapy is that the animals are inviting them in. They're inviting them to talk to them and to feel safe and to feel like this is a place that they can trust. The clinicians, this is Cassandra Larson. She is one of our most experienced clinicians who's fighting off Duncan. So now that the goats have gotten the treats, they're all about doing all the tricks that they know.
Yeah, that's great. Well, if you have questions for us, and you're just joining us, we're here with Linda Chasman, and we're talking about animal-assisted psychotherapy today and how that can really help people in many conditions, all about mental health. So if you have your questions, send them in. We're going to hang out with animals and chat, so this is really fun for me. And you were just saying that, just being with animals sometimes is a great way to just feel like you're alive and the animals are welcoming. Maybe that's not true in your life or for some people.
Exactly. And a lot of people feel very isolated, and so it's hard to come to see a counselor in a more traditional office. And so here we have our cottage, and this is a 104-year-old cottage here. It's very welcoming and quaint, and so people come to the property, and it doesn't feel like they're coming to a doctor's office or a clinical office. They're coming to somebody's farm. And we're so close to Denver intentionally because we want people to be able to have this kind of urban and farm experience where they might not have ever had it. And so we hear most of the people who come here talk about this as an oasis, or just a completely different kind of place than any place else in their life. And so it's a lot easier to come to counseling or psychotherapy because they form relationships with the animals And that is part of their therapy.
Right.
So they can learn through their relationships with the animals, not just by talking therapy. And that's one of the ways that animal-assisted psychotherapy really is different than traditional counseling or psychotherapy. It's not just petting a dog sitting on a couch. That is fine and that helps, but really...
That's what I do.
Yeah, exactly. You can do that at home.
You go way further than that.
We go way further than that. There are so many ways that these animals can help clients. A lot of times the clients don't even have to do that much talking. We create experiences with the animals that help them to release or to go to those places or to learn the new skills that they need to learn to make their life better, to make it happier.
Could you give an example of maybe what we would do with this beautiful horse behind here, like if I have a client?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is Lupa. Lupa is a big horse.
Yes.
And so we see people here who have been victims of domestic violence or physical or sexual abuse. So one of the things that we might do is to help them, them to have a trusting experience with Lupa. And she's a big cuddle bug. So, but clients who may not have ever been around horses don't know that. And they still have to learn how to be with a horse like that. She's deciding to chew on my clothes.
Yeah, she is.
And so if you're not experienced with a horse, that could really frighten somebody. And so what we're doing is we're helping them to learn how to be with that horse in a way that they feel safe, that the horse is safe. And in so doing, they have to learn how to be empowered, because the horses are really looking for leaders. They are looking to follow somebody that's strong and is consistent and says what they mean. And
which are good skills for us all to learn and use.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so the horses are great for just teaching good communication skills, for assertive skills, because you can't, say, would you come here, horse, and have them come. You have to really use your voice, find your strength and your power internally, and then that horse is going to follow you. Yeah. And sometimes if we really need a challenge, we'll have clients do it without even a lead rope. And so that takes a whole set of skills about communication and nonverbal communicating with the horse. And then sometimes these horses can take a lot. If we have people who are grieving, we've had clients that just come up and they'll just bury their face in the side of the horse, and they can just breathe in his smell, and they can cry on his shoulder, and then they can just kind of let all of that out.
And is that maybe safer than a human sometimes?
For a lot of people, it really is.
The horse is just unconditional, like
absolutely. And the horse will take it. And then, the horse takes it in, and then that person can feel some relief. And then what I like to tell them is that at the end of the day, that horse poops it all out. So that horse doesn't have to carry it either, because they have this great mechanism. When they have too much, they poop it out. They know how to let it go, whereas humans, we don't. So she's going to
eat my paper.
Yeah, she's going to eat your paper. That's definitely a goat thing.
What's something that you might do with the goats for therapy and therapeutic means?
Well, what you saw earlier with the goats waving is those are tricks that our clients taught them. Aww. We don't teach any tricks to our animals, anything that we want our animals to do beyond basic obedience. The clients will teach them. So that has a whole range of things that can help the client to learn problem solving, patience, thinking through a process, being positive, positively reinforcing, and then when they see that they've accomplished that, they have this good feeling. Yeah. So we also work a lot with addictions, and what we find is that people really need to learn to see themselves differently and to see a different side of themselves than they're used to seeing. Right. And so what happens with the animals is that in their relationships with the animals, they start to see a side of themselves that maybe they haven't seen before. And then we're very strength-based. We want to go with that positive side of their personality and really build on that so that they can start to find something that's positive with them.
And having some success training one of the pets maybe is a little bit different than what they're used to seeing themselves as.
Right. I mean, you can go say to your friend, I trained a goat, to
who can
weigh.
Say that? Yeah.
That's right. I mean, that's, for our kids and our teenagers who feel like they just don't have any anything that's good about them, that's a really unique, that's a really special thing that they can own.
So really a lot of different mental health issues can be treated here, and it seems like, you know, this kind of an environment would be a lot easier to get people to go to if you have any consideration about, oh, I don't want to do that.
Right.
This
exactly.
seems like it would be a lot more fun and easy to get someone to come to.
I think the word fun that you mentioned is not usually equated with therapy and counseling. And so that's really different here. And that's why we started this place, was that I wanted to hear laughter. I wanted people to be healing and to know that they could laugh as part of their healing, and that they could feel joy and they could feel alive. And they could get lots of horse snuggles and cat snuggles and dog snuggles, and you know, they could come to a place that felt good to be at, and they didn't have to leave sad and in pain all of the time.
Now, you were telling me a little bit, and if you're just joining us, we're out here at talking about, you know, animal-assisted psychotherapy, and with Linda Chasman, the executive director here, and their therapists out here, and we're just talking about, you know, what are the benefits and how this could help people in counseling and therapy. But, you know, you mentioned something to me a little bit earlier, and you even gave me a cheat sheet here about, you know, I said, oh, well, is this like pet therapy? And this isn't pet therapy, is it?
It isn't. There really is no such thing as pet therapy. I think years ago they talked about having therapy with maybe the therapist's dog or something like that, but there really isn't a use for that term anymore. I think when people are referring to pet therapy, now they're referring to emotional support animals.
Right.
And those are animals that are owned by the individual because they need an animal for emotional support.
Right. So, you know, that's more accurate, is an emotional support pet.
Exactly.
Right.
People don't own therapy animals for their own use.
Right. Now, would this be a therapy animal?
He is a therapy animal because, or she is a therapy animal because she is here for other people to benefit from. She's not my therapy animal per se. She's not your therapy animal. If you were here for counseling, she would be a therapy animal that's working with you.
Yeah.
So as are all of our animals are therapy animals. The dogs are trained and certified therapy animals.
Right.
They're certified as a team with us. So there's Rupert. There's my puppy.
Rupert.
He's my therapy dog. And he and I are certified as a therapy team. The other animals are therapy animals. They're not necessarily trained or certified, but we know they're safe with people. And all of our animals are adopted. They've all been rescued.
Right.
And we know that they want to be here and they want to be working with clients.
And so these therapy animals are different also than service animals.
Yes, service animals are really specifically trained for one person to do very specific kinds of tasks to help that individual person. So that's why you can't pet a service animal, is because they're generally working and they have to focus on what their job is to help that human at that moment. And so the service animals are the only animals that are allowed to go into restaurants and hotels. They're essentially treated as an extension of that human being. Whereas therapy animals, we have no legal status whatsoever. Emotional support animals, they don't have to be trained, but they can be allowed on airplanes if you have the proper credentials and recommendation from a physician. And you can get a letter sometimes so that they can live with you. But both of those options, I don't think that they're required to allow you to, you know, they can't just let you live in an apartment with your support animal because you want to. You have to get specific approvals.
And you know, I think I've heard controversy about, you know, people getting their animals certified as emotional support animals just so they can take them on the airplane. And you know, given what you do for work, what would you have to say about that?
We really have problems with that because we know people that really legitimately do need those animals, and in the 7 years that we've been in practice here, we have given 2 letters to clients that we've already been working with so that they could have an emotional support animal. And that's out of hundreds, close to 300 clients that we've had, only 2 letters. So really, most people don't need truly an emotional support animal. It's a serious thing. And what's happening is that people are abusing the system, and then they're going to blow it for everybody else. So they're going to see these poorly behaved animals and poorly behaved humans, and
That's
then
lowercase, I think,
yes,
right?
exactly, and you know, they say, well, sorry, you know, we just have too many dogs on the plane, we can't do it anymore.
Yeah, yeah. Well, I tell you what, I didn't know if I had any therapy, but this is like making me happy. Look at this. You're so funny. So listen, you know, this has been a real treat for us to come out. Thank you so much for having us and for exploring this kind of therapy that maybe we didn't know about and that could help a lot of people. So we're actually going to go ahead and sign off here.
Okay.
But if anybody has questions and wants to join the conversation, we can always check back in on the feed
Absolutely.
and answer any questions. And we want to let you know that this is, you know, part of our series about how health happens, and health happens different for everybody. We do have health fairs happening this weekend, and if you need to get to a health fair, check 9healthfair.org and find one near you. Maybe we're taking a break for the Halloween, I was told just now. So we're taking a break for Halloween so you can enjoy your holiday, but then we're back at it, and check 9healthfair.org and find a fair near you. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us
Thanks
here.
for joining
Thank
us.
you, Lita. And bye-bye. Thank you guys. This is